Hi, this is Toby, and today I'll be showing you the growth of my monkey's tail cacti in the 2023 to 2024 growing season. So let's get started with the video. I'm going to focus on this monkey's tail and this monkey's tail in this video. I did do a video on this last season if you haven't checked it out already, and I haven't watered it since the end of autumn, so it is quite dry and the weather is warming up, and especially up here in the balcony in the afternoon, the hot sun does hit it. It warms the pot up quite a lot, and this plant does dry out quite quickly if I do water it. So I think I can get away with watering it a bit early. So I'm going to get my little watering can that I have, and we're going to water. I'm going to try not to wet the body too much, but I am just going to thoroughly water it for the first time in a few months. And the small monkey's tail, let's see if I can get in there without getting too wet, because there's water on the floor, but that'll dry up. I think when it starts growing next week, I will actually give it a bit more fungicide. I won't give it any nutrients, but there it is, it's watered, and when it starts bringing new growth, I'll show you what the new growth looks like. Here's an update of the monkey's tail. Look at how it's plumped up slightly. I can feel that it's a lot more turgid. It's not as soft as before. Again, so much white bristles. Same with this one, it's plumped up a bit, but growth hasn't really started, but yeah. So here's another monkey's tail update. Let me show you the small one first. I've only watered it twice this season so far. The small one hasn't really started to grow yet. If we look at the larger one, I was checking it yesterday and I realized there's another tail coming. Let me see if I can show you. It's kind of behind this thing where it's hung up. Let's see if I can show you in there. This hasn't really started growing yet, except for that one tail hidden in there. But it's looking good. I am going to be dreading repotting it eventually, because I know it can't live in this pot forever, and repotting is going to be a pain. But other than that, it's doing really well. Here's an update of the monkey's tail. Let's look at the small one. And I've also moved the stand from over there to out here just so that they get more direct sunlight. And the reason being is on the small one, the tail behind is starting to stretch a bit. You can see it's a bit thin, but that's okay, it's only minor and it should be able to come back. The small one's growing well, the big one,
Dang, it gets longer every day.
I feel like it's gotten a lot longer. Let's see if I can move this down, look at it. Look, come around, look at how big that is. Let's look at the new shoot. You can see it's starting to come out now, that new shoot. It is hitting this, but I can't do anything about it. I haven't noticed any flower buds form on the plant yet. Here's another update of the monkey's tail. I've moved it downstairs into the backyard into this area because it gets some light in the morning, and it does need bright morning sun, which it's not getting up in the balcony. And I have noticed on some of them, it was starting to stretch a bit at the tips, but because it's only very minor, it will outgrow it. If it stretches too much, it's irreversible and I have to cut the tail off and then grow another one. I put a stone or a little pebble there to prevent that tail from growing into the place where it attaches to the pot, this thing. But so far, everything looks quite good. So here's another monkey's tail update. If I come to the back of this tail, let's see if I can get around it without it moving. We've got a flower bud developing right there. I don't know if you can see that. I've also got some buds developing in there. Now, because I moved in the full sun, a bit of it did get sunburnt over time. You can see up there, it is looking a bit sunburnt. That's okay. It'll eventually outgrow it. Hopefully a new tail grows over and covers it. For the smaller monkey's tail, you can see new growth is coming out. I'm not sure why this one is more sun tolerant than my older one, which should be the other way around. I would have expected this one to get sunburnt and this one to be fine, but that's okay. Again, it shouldn't rot, and if it does start to rot from the base, I can always just cut the tails off and regrow them. So it's doing quite well. It hasn't really produced a lot of new growth in terms of length, so it's probably putting a lot of its energy into flowers, whilst this smaller monkey's tail has produced a lot more growth. So here's another update of the monkey's tail. Let's look at the flowers. You can see they're coming out of the little bristles now, and the flower is taking shape. It should bloom in around a week or so. The smaller one here, the new tails are coming out, so that's really good. It has rained recently, and some of the rain, I've just let it hit the plant, and it doesn't seem to mind, so there could be a chance that the sunburn was actually a combination of me underwatering it slightly and it getting too much sun, but it's doing a lot better now. I've got so many flower buds on the plant. They're just everywhere. Here's an update of the monkey's tail. It's finally blooming. It was actually undercover over there with my workbench for 2 or 3 days because it was raining quite heavily, but I've just moved it back out and the flowers have just opened today. Let's take a look at it. Very interesting flowers. I don't know how long these flowers last. The petals look quite good. I don't know if that's the pollen that's purple, I think. Let me just check. Yeah, the pollen is purple, which is very interesting. I haven't seen that before. The stigma is green. It hasn't opened yet, the stigma, so it's probably not receptive at this moment. I don't think I can pollinate this because, again, this is just one plant. Even though I did cut one of them off, it's still genetically identical, so I don't think I can pollinate this. I'm pretty sure they have to be cross-pollinated, so I'll have to wait until my smaller monkey's tail matures and blooms, which hopefully will be either next year or the year after, because this looks like it's doing really well. So here's another update of the monkey's tail. We got a bit of morning rain, but other than that, the flowers are open. Let's count how many are open today. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And one on this side, 11. So we have 11 open today. There are still some buds that are yet to open, which might open tomorrow, but this is really, really good. First time blooming and it's producing so many flower buds. I hope next season it will do just as well. Don't know if I need to give it a repot because it is starting to crowd up the pot, but so far it seems to be doing well. And I have noticed there's still more buds developing. There's one there that's just starting to form. Yep, there's still more buds forming, so maybe we might get another rebloom. Here's another monkey's tail update. We did get some rain last night, so that's why it's trenched, but all the flowers have wilted. So that's just one period of flowering. I have noticed more buds. You can see there are more buds coming out. So it will flower again, but I find this looks quite interesting. It actually does look like an animal that's been soaked. You can see all the wet fur and stuff. Whereas the other Cleistocactus here, without the bristles, doesn't look like that. Even my smaller monkey's tail, the fur is a little bit short with the bristles, but this is doing quite well. And so here's another monkey's tail update. If you're wondering why it's here, it's been a few cold and wet days, so I've just moved it inside. More flowers. This is the third time blooming this season. The first time was when I showed you. The second time, I think it only produced 1 or 2 flowers, and I didn't really record it, but now it's gotten a lot more. If you can come around, you can see more flowers, so that's really nice. I think this plant is probably going to focus its energy on flowering now. I don't think the limbs are getting longer, but it might still grow, you never know. Whereas the smaller plant here is put on a lot of growth this season. You can see the tail's getting longer, and I will try to repot it into a pot that's that size next season, and hopefully next season or the season after we can get it to flower and I can get some seeds. So here's another monkey's tail update. It's autumn now. It's just been blooming on and off. It hasn't put on much growth again, except for the buds. I don't know what this stuff is here. Let me see if there's another one on my monkey's tail here. It looks like some sort of insect laid eggs on it. Although I doubt it's gonna hatch because it's not gonna get any nutrients out of the little bristles. But they've had a nice season of growing. Again, this one hasn't bloomed, so it's actually produced a lot of growth. This, because it's bloomed, it hasn't really produced too much growth. I mean, this probably got a bit longer, this tail. The new tail we got didn't really get that much longer. I don't see any more new tails. The bit of sun damage is calloused over, so that's okay. Next season I want to get more blooms, but you can see it's gotten a lot more hairy. So here's another monkey's tail update. It's pretty much stopped growing. It's getting cold. this entire thing actually tipped over yesterday because the wind was very strong. You can see I've got a pile of pumice over there from stuff spilling out of the pots. Surprisingly, none of the monkey's tails got damaged, even though they slammed against the ground. Nothing got damaged. The only plant that actually got damaged was this, and it just lost a segment over here, which is no big deal. You can see the skull planting got a bit dirty from the soil, but that's okay. These monkey's tails seem to be very tough. It survived the fall. The pots are okay, nothing broke. I don't think this has grown that much longer this season. It has gotten a lot more woolly, whereas my smaller one here has grown a lot. I do have a segment curling on the inside of the pot, which I don't like. I'll fix that up when I repot it next season. But I think I'll show you one more update before I end the video. Here's a final update of the monkey's tail. We're back on the balcony. I brought them up here because I don't like carrying this stand from the garden undercover each time it rains. And I have been doing that for the past probably around a week or so because of the rain. So they're gonna stay up here now. They're not growing, so even though they're not getting a lot of light here, that's okay. You see my two monkey's tail, this one's grown really well in terms of putting on new length. Maybe I'll have to repot it into a pot like that next season. Whereas this plant focused mainly on flowering, so it didn't really put on that much new growth. The new segment we got, you can see it's still quite short. The sun damage, it looks really bad, but I promise you it won't really kill the plant. But anyways, thanks for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below and I will answer them. But anyways, thanks for watching this video and I'll see you next one. Bye.